Well, the 49ers finally made an acquisition, an agreement to terms, a signing that I believe the entire fan base can get behind. And it's not a new face. It's an old face, a guy who had been around for 8 years. 49ers released him earlier in the week. He is now back on a new 2 year, $8 million contract. His name, obviously, is Kyle Juszczyk, the fullback that has really been a part of the fabric of the 49ers since John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan came on the scene in 2017. In fact, Juszczyk was part of that group, 9 veteran free agents that they signed on the very first day. They paraded them up there on stage, and a lot of those names are very, very forgettable. Two guys stayed around for a while. Yeah, so let's talk about who those 9 free agents. I'm just going to jar your memory banks here. Wide receiver Pierre Garcon, a veteran guy. 49ers brought him in. Kyle Shanahan had a history with him. He was coming in to kind of help set the tone for the 49ers wide receivers room, what's expected of them. And I would say, even though his time with the 49ers was short-lived, I think he accomplished, or yeah, they accomplished what they wanted to by bringing him in, a very solid pro. There was also Marquise Goodwin, who had certainly one good year with the 49ers, and a very memorable time, I think, during his time. Who else? Brian Hoyer, less memorable. Had I will always tell people he had one of the best training camps I think I've ever seen, as far as a guy that could just throw it around, looked very good, looked very comfortable, and then the game started and the production simply wasn't there and ended up getting benched just a few games in for uh, CJ Beathard. Yeah, I had to remember who they benched him for. Tight end Logan Paulson, blocking tight end. Malcolm Smith, who had just been the Super Bowl MVP for the Seattle Seahawks. So he came in, not super, yeah, he was Super Bowl MVP, and he was also the person who, on that NFC Championship game against Seattle, caught the deflection from Sherman going up against Crabtree in the end zone, picks off Colin Kaepernick to clinch that game. And then the two guys that lasted for a while were Robbie Gould, the kicker, and people are probably still clamoring for Robbie Gould right now, and of course Kyle Juszczyk. So I think I said 9 earlier. 7 free agents they brought in. I know Matt Barkley came in, I think, the next day and never really spent any time. I think he was cut before the season started, in fact. So anyway, that's the news of the day. Kyle Juszczyk coming back, and I've been doing so much talking and writing over the last few days somewhere, and I think even one comment, someone asked me why would they release Kyle Juszczyk, and my answer was I don't know. To me, that was the one where he's still playing at a high level. 49ers are unique in that they have that the two back uh, system. They run a 21 personnel, two backs, one tight end, and it looked to me like by signing Luke Farrell as a free agent, they were shifting to more of a one back, two tight end system. So now they go back. Kyle Juszczyk under contract for 2 years at 8 million, and I'm sure a lot of you are saying, well, isn't that kind of the same contract that he had before, only add a year? And I mean, without seeing the structure of the deal, there would be some dead money involved that they can hit. They can just absorb on this year's cap because they released him, and now they bring him back. And so, I remember being told, like, they could still bring him back, and it rarely happens that way. But in the case of this, where Kyle Juszczyk, by the way, he took a visit to the Pittsburgh Steelers on I think it was on Friday, Thursday or Friday, and then in the wee hours on Saturday morning, the reports start to come out that Kyle Juszczyk is out, back with the 49ers, and his wife Kristen posted some heartfelt messages on social media. Let's see if I can here. I'll read just what she wrote. This past week has made Kyle and I reflect on our past 8 years in the Bay. We grew up here. We turned friends into family here. We won championships here. We lost championships here. We feel so incredibly blessed to have called the Bay home for the past 8 years. It's truly been the best years of our lives. Kyle's curtain isn't closed just yet, and we couldn't be more happy and emotional to stay home. We're forever faithful. So how about that? An off season that has been very difficult. Well, it's not even a full off season. It's just been a few days here of the free agent signing period. And we can go through the list of all the players, and there's a lot of them. I'll Here we go. Let's just do this. In no particular order, just how I have them listed here. Leonard Floyd to the Falcons, Javon Hargrave to the Vikings, Malik Collins to the Browns, Deebo Samuel in a trade to the Commanders, Dre Greenlaw to the Broncos, Charvarius Ward to the Colts, Aaron Banks to the Packers, Talanoa Hufanga to the Broncos, Jalen Moore to the Chiefs, Isaac Yiadom to the Saints, Joshua Dobbs to the Patriots, Elijah Mitchell to the Chiefs, Brandon Allen to the Titans, Tabor Pepper released, Demetrius Flanagan Fowles to the Giants, Charlie Heck, remember him? Heck yeah, you do. He stepped in late in the season, pretty much came in off another team's practice squad and was in the starting lineup. Anyway, Charlie Heck to the Buccaneers, and then John Feliciano retires. So now I put Kyle Juszczyk on the list of players who are staying, and that list, other than the guys who were tendered as exclusive rights free agents, the guys who they have reached contract terms with, or in the case of Jordan Mason, they've tendered him at a second round level as a restricted free agent. So we'll put Jordan Mason, but Kyle Juszczyk, Kevin Givens, Curtis Robinson, Patrick Taylor, and then some time ago they signed Ben Barch to an extension. And then the free agent acquisitions, which now, Kyle Juszczyk is at the top of that list, I guess, as well. But Mac Jones as a backup quarterback, Trey Brown from the Seahawks, he's a cornerback. Demarcus Robinson, free agent wide receiver from the Rams. Jason Pinnock, safety from the Giants. I mentioned Luke Farrell, the tight end from the Jags. Richie Grant, safety from the Falcons. Linebacker Luke Gifford, a free agent from the Titans. So that is where it's at as far as the update. Kyle Juszczyk sticking around. I know a lot of people had wondered about the possibility of Cooper Kupp. That ship has sailed. I don't think that ship ever really left the port, to be honest with you. He goes to the Seattle Seahawks after the Rams released him earlier in the week. And that just kind of stays in line with what the 49ers have shown, that they weren't willing to overextend to keep Talanoa Hufanga or Dre Greenlaw, two guys with histories of injuries. They weren't willing to overextend to acquire Joey Bosa, a guy who has had injuries here in the past 3 years, and then Cooper Kupp as well, a guy who really fits as a wide receiver, really fits what Kyle Shanahan likes as far as the short area quickness, the ability to get open so quickly, just everything as a route runner and a pass catcher that the 49ers would like. But I just get the sense that they don't want to take any chances. And you're always going to take a chance just because a guy has been healthy in the past doesn't mean he's going to remain healthy once you sign him. But for the 49ers, I think clearly people who get injured are maybe more prone to get injured in the future. And so anyway, that's why the 49ers decided to that and the finances, obviously, to take a pass on those guys and not go up to that level that it would take to sign them. So anyway, news of the day, Kyle Juszczyk is back, and the jarring offseason of losing so many guys is still a jarring offseason so far of losing so many guys, but that number has been decreased by one with Kyle Juszczyk coming back to the 49ers on a 2-year deal. All right, thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a like and a comment, and that is it for now.